forklift certified.
Inside the fork scale, bud. Huh? Inside the fork scale.
I thought I was hooked better than that.
You did real. You did real
Great,
good.
buddy.
Hey, that was a good idea. That worked really good until it broke.
Jeez.
We're gonna have to come up with some. Oh, wait. Right here. I got it now. Here we go.
Yeah, let me get behind something.
All right.
You're doing great, Cameron.
You about made. It's not gonna. You need to go in more. It would have fell right on the cup. All right, we just wanted to do a little update. We haven't had much of a chance to do an update on Cleetus' Spark build. We started on it just a few days ago, actually. George dropped it off, and, well, from the front, it still looks like a completely factory Spark for the most part. But it is not a completely factory Spark anymore. It has been completely torn apart and gutted. And I'll tell you what, this thing looks pretty wild, actually.
Yeah, it's turning out pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a very cool build.
Yeah, never seen a Spark like it. It'll definitely be the only one like it. Look at this. Look at you. I would daily drive this, to be honest.
The fuel mileage might be pretty bad, but...
Well, speaking of fuel miles, why don't you go ahead and pop that hood open? Let's see what's under the hood real quick.
What? Should we? Are you sure? You want to do
I
this?
think we should.
All right.
Yeah,
I think we should.
do it. Ain't no one seen something like this
A
before.
Big Block Chevy and a Spark.
Oh, yeah. 632, baby.
632
cubic inches.
This thing's got to be light, too.
Yeah.
We should-
Well, heck, we've cut 90% of the floor out of it just to fit the engine here. Look at this. I mean, there's... Cleetus is going to have to sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
There's, like, no way. Like, you've lost, like, at least, like, a foot of legroom. The back two cylinders are inside the car now. Let's look inside this thing. I haven't looked inside of it yet.
Good thing it's a four-door.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be back. Look at this. Big Block Chevy and a Spark. We had to cut quite a bit of floor out, but that's all right. We're probably going to have to do a little more trimming back here for the transmission to fit. Dude, this thing is going to be cool.
Man, and he don't know nothing about it. That's
He don't know. That's the best part. Like, his guys pulling this together without him knowing anything about it. And we got to be super careful because if he comes over, we do have lumberjack and we do have mullet. So if he comes over, we got to, like, I don't know, throw a tarp over this thing or, like, wrestle him, make sure he stays on the other side. But
we got a million welding blankets over there. We'll throw over.
just cover over it and tell him there's just it's a no-time car over here you can't look at.
Yeah.
But
The crazy thing is, George stole one of the 632s they picked up a few months ago from Fast Forward, and he's like, I don't think he's going to notice it missing. So,
Cleetus got a lot of stuff, a lot of cars and stuff. So, and he's busy. I'm sure he's not like counting his engines every morning, you know. Like he trusts the guys that are in there that have access to him, and he's got a lot of stuff. They reached out and wanted to do this build for his birthday, which I think is super cool. Right after he hard parked the Spark, so we'll get some more update videos now that we're rolling on this deal and the list race is over.
Can we talk about one thing?
I don't know.
How long do we got to finish this? What's the realistic goal here?
We got what's the date today?
today is March 7th.
We have probably realistically we need to have this thing done in about 18 days from today.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So we got a lot of fab work to do, right? We basically right now just have this thing cut out and sitting over this engine.
Yeah.
So we need to mount a motor, mount a tranny, figure out a front suspension, figure out a rear suspension, figure out a removable tunnel, mount a seat, do a cage. Well, we got about, what did I say, 18 days? We got about
18
we got about 18 weeks worth of work to do in 18 days. So we're definitely going to have some long nights coming up.
Shouldn't be a problem. I mean, you know.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. It's for his birthday. We got to make it happen. There's nothing better than seeing a look on someone's face when they get something they don't know, and it'll be really cool. So we'll definitely make it happen, and can't wait to see everyone at Freedom Factory for the Freedom 500, which I'll be racing in. You'll probably see me. I'll be the car in the very back. So just keep an eye out for that one or the one that's crashed in the middle.
Yeah, he'll be the one that's ahead of Victor.
Well, that's a given. But me and Victor will probably be both in the back.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So that's all right. That's all right. We'll be back there hanging out. At least we'll be in a race. All right, so Danny's got the strut jig all mocked up in this Spark here. And what we're realizing is, which we kind of knew was going to happen, this frame, there's not enough room between where the strut's going to go, which the face of the wheel's going to be here, and the strut's going to go back this way. The spring's going to be all up in our frame here, Danny.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty bad. So we had talked about maybe like running a notch in here, you know, for like a tube and putting a tube in there and buffing it down and all that stuff, which we could do, but I think it's going to be kind of a pain, and we're going to have to notch quite a bit of that. So I think our plan now is we're going to cut this off at the firewall, and we're going to cut it off up here, and we'll cut it off here, and we'll just plate both sides and run a tube. I think that's the better bet. I think it'll look cleaner. It'll also give us more room for headers. What do you think, Danny?
You're asking me?
Well, all right, let me ask you this.
This was
What'd you do?
Winging it.
What'd you do on the last Spark you did with a Big Block Chevy?
Nothing.
All right, so we're gonna wing it, but I think that's the best bet. I think we cut it there because that'll give us more tire clearance in the front. That'll give us all kinds of just more clearance in general, and I don't think it's gonna be an issue at all to do that. We'll still have our body mounts. We'll cut it right underneath this bumper mount. So we'll cut that there, cut it up here, cut it back here, plate both sides, run like 1.5 inch tube, 1 3/8 tube. All right, well, that's the plan. He's got both sides done. There's a little bit of figuring out to do with this. Obviously, you want to make sure that's in the center. And then we had to put the strut inside the tire and measure from the front of the tire to the wheel face to get our in and out here, because that's going to be pretty critical. If the tire ends up sticking out, it's going to hit the fender. Can't have that. So now we got all that figured out.
Well, we can always buy those plastic wheel wells and bolt them on the side, you know, to make it go outside the tire.
That would look good. That would look good. Wide body kit for a Spark, but only on the front. Only on the front. And this is a little different than normal too, because usually we run like 10.5 degrees of caster, but this one's going to turn a lot, so we're going to run closer to 6 degrees of caster. So that'll change a little bit. We are going to run our adjustable strut cups on the top, and we'll have a little bit of spanner. So we'll be able to play with the ride height some. We'll be able to move the caster and camera around with our adjustable lower control arms. So that'll be nice. The rack's in there, barely, but we're going to get...
It's adjustable.
Yeah, it's adjustable right now. It's loose. Floating rack. So we're going to get the struts in here after Danny cuts us out, and then we'll lower the whole operation down, and we'll start trying to mount the strut cups up top, and then we'll worry about the control arms on the bottom. How's the angle look, Danny?
Well, we're all right.
Just to make sure when they're doing circles, it stays in a circular motion.
They are to the 10th of being the same from side to side.
Okay.
It was totally amazing.
Totally amazing. Looks killer. We could almost see it on the ground.
Oh, I'm really excited.
You look fired up, Danny.
I'm so excited I want to go eat.
All right, Taylor. So right now, we got 72 hours pretty much to have this Spark wrapped up. It doesn't need much. Needs a floor, a drive shaft enclosure, pedals, brake lines, headers, fuel cell, battery, seat belts, seat, wiring, plumbing, transcooler, radiator.
Doesn't need much.
How you feeling about this?
It'll be all right.
So the plan is, right now, what we're talking about doing is, because we're ready to take it apart. The engine can come out, the training can come out, which will make our lives a lot easier with brake pedal, steering shaft, welding, everything else. It'll make our lives a ton easier. But with that said, the motor can't come out the top because there's no room to come out the top. It can't come out the front because there's a core support in the front. So what we have to do is, and as you see, we did this way. We bolted this in up here. Our frame rails run back, and right in front of this mid plate, we're going to cut it, and we're going to do a 3-bolt flange just like this here. So that basically the whole front subframe can come down with the engine. Or at least that's the plan, Danny. Hopefully it works, right? Danny looks concerned. Are you concerned, Danny?
Well, it can't come straight down because this mid plate overlaps this tube.
We're not going to take it out with a mid plate.
Oh, well, then you're fine.
Just the motor, no mid plate. The mid plate will stay there, hold the
You can't
transmission.
go forward because the water pump is right up against the fans almost.
That's right. Yeah, can't come forward much.
Unless you move the radiator. If you remove the radiator, if you're going to pull the motor, you're going to have the water out of it anyway.
Who would have thought building a Chevy Spark with a Big Block Chevrolet, there'd be no room?
Why is it every car is so friggin' tight everywhere in the world? Why,
I don't know.
Why does it matter? It doesn't matter what car it is.
It just ends up like that, doesn't it?
Everything is tight. Tight as in
There's no room.
no room
For anything.
There's no room without everything being like, well, if it goes a quarter of an inch this way, then it's not going to work. There's no such thing as like, oh, yeah, we got about 2 inches of clearance.
It never happens, does it?
No.
It never works like that, does it?
No.
We have to build a bigger car like an
It
Impala
doesn't
or
matter how
something.
big the driver is either.
No,
It's always something.
it is. Always. All right, so let's get this cut. I'll mark it. We'll get that cut, put the flanges on, drop the motor out, get this thing apart. All right, we got our drive shaft enclosure in late last night. That'll protect Cleetus. The drive shaft were to come apart. Hopefully it doesn't. But that's 050 chromoly. Pretty stout stuff. The drive shaft comes apart. It'll keep it in there. We're now welding on some Zeus tabs on the bottom to put a carbon centerpiece in. And the reason we're doing that is because the center has to come out, because this tube at some point will be removable so you can get the training out of the bottom. I imagine this will probably be the only Chevy Spark in the world with a carbon fiber floor, along with pretty much everything else that this has that no other Spark has. All right, it's Sunday, about noon. We have until tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, to have the Spark finished. Danny's here helping today. I got a few more people coming in later. Pretty much been working around the clock the last few days. Danny just marked a little clearance we got to do once we get this thing all apart. It's not much. The rack's pretty much locked out when the tire hits the inner fender well there, and then it hits the frame a tiny, tiny bit up here. So we just want to make sure we clearance it, because this thing's going to be in some pretty gnarly burnouts and turns, and I'm sure it's going to be loaded up. So we want to make sure it has enough clearance that it's not going to hit nothing.
Yeah, we can raise this up and see what it does too. Because right now it's all the way down.
Yeah, right now the
So
suspension's
under
hanging.
load, it's going to be
A little different.
a little different.
A little different. So we put a little camera in the front end, something we don't normally do on a drag car, but it's not a drag car, it's a burnout car. Although I'm sure Cleetus will probably take it down the track if I had to guess, and that's why we did some of the things we did.
No.
Just in case he wanted to take it down the track.
Really?
It's got a removable tranny cross member now, has a carbon floor in the back that Zeus is in, aluminum belly pan for the transmission. We are really close to getting ready to take in the entire car apart so that we can start welding, and we have our powder coat guy on standby. He's going to start powder coating all the parts, like the lower control arms, the ladder bars, diagonal link, rear end housing, everything else. So with any luck, about 4 or 5 hours from now, we'll have everything apart. We'll have it over to the powder coater. They'll be powder coating, we'll be welding, and then probably sometime very late tonight or first thing in the morning, we'll start putting this thing back together. And then Zach will get it, and Zach can start doing some wiring. I know Zach needs a little bit of time, so that'll probably give him a day or two to get it wired up. We got the radiator mounted in here. Just barely enough room, Danny. There's not no extra room, that's for sure.
No, this front end, geometry-wise, turned out real good.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. We got lucky for sure.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
You know, it's funny, Danny, because when Squirrel called me and said, hey, can you put this Big Block Chevy in a Spark? In my head, I said, we could probably just put that thing down in there, some stock motor mounts, rig up some stuff over the frame rails. This will be a quick, easy job. And listen, we pretty much got a Pro Mod Spark, Danny, without the cage. It's pretty much a Pro Mod Spark chassis.
Pro Mod quality.
Pro Mod quality Spark.
His words. I thought he was a bitter man. He spoke of women's ways. They trap you and they use you before you even know. For love is blind and you're far too kind. Don't ever let it show. I wish that I knew what I know now. When I was younger.
Andrew welding up some boxing in a frame here, and then we'll blend it all down. We had to notch it for the springs to clear right there.
Yep.
Danny's over here building the other side. Cameron's in there welding. We got about 45 people on this thing. This is like one of those circus cars. You see like 10 people pop out.
Yeah, all the clowns.
Yeah.
Like Chatwin.
Well, I didn't say that. All right, we're getting some paint put down in the back of this thing so that we can start assembling. We got the rear end already put together. All we got to do is get some paint, let it dry for a few minutes, and we'll be going back together with it. So you believe that, Taylor?
Nope.
I'm ready. I want to make a rip in this thing. Unfortunately, it's not going to run while it's here, so that's not going to be fun.
No,
I think they did that on purpose.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we'll just wire it over here.
Yeah. We'd break it before it got there.
Yeah, right. We can't.
We'd have a lot of fun.
We'll have to break it after.
We'd have a lot of fun in this.
Oh, for sure. This thing's a blast. This thing's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be
We
great.
need something like this to go get lunch.
But with rear brakes.
Yeah, with rear brakes.
Yes.
With front brakes, driving around town might not be ideal.
No.
For sure.
No, not at all.
That made it pretty easy.
It did make it easy.
Removable cross member and a spark, Danny, and now you just drop the motor right out the bottom.
Yeah, just like a factory car.
It's all factory. It's a special edition factory Spark.
So now you can go, when you want to pull the motor out, you can go look at the flat rate manual for a Spark, and that's how much you got to pay to get it out.
All right, it's midnight Wednesday morning. I just recorded a really big update, and actually I just took a picture. I didn't record it, so we'll try again.
5 minutes later.
5 minutes later, and we did a whole good spiel. It was a really good update, but unfortunately, it was just a picture of Danny. So Danny's doing the brake lines, getting those wrapped up. Taylor put the struts together, tapped the strut cups. Steve's been doing some sheet metal stuff. We're all here trying to get this thing wrapped up. They're going to be here in about 8 hours to get it, and Zach has a lot of wiring and plumbing to do still in the next day. He's got about 24 hours with it, so last minute for sure. Really big job to do in 3 or 4 weeks, but it'll be worth it, and I'm sure Cleet will be super happy to see it. It'll be cool to see it unveiled at the Freedom 500 right after I get tore up by everybody else. What do you think I'm gonna finish, Taylor? Where do you think I'm gonna finish? 20. I think there's 27 guys.
DNF?
Dang, I can't even finish. I can't even finish. You don't think I'll finish?
No, you might.
We'll probably post this video after the race, so let's see how close you are.
Don't.
Let's hear what your honest thought.
I don't know. Mid to back.
Mid to back.
Yeah.
I would take mid.
Mid to.
Honestly, you
Back half.
we were joking around. You said DNF. I'll be happy if I just finish the race. I'll be honest. I did 20 laps and it wore me out. If I can make 100 somehow, I will be more than happy with that. So, all right, we're gonna get the painting here soon and seam sealing and impacting, nut and bolting, and whatever else we got to do to get this thing on the ground here very shortly. Do another update too. All right, it's 3:30 in the morning, and this time I hit record, Steve.
Good.
We're recording. It's not a picture, so make sure you act right. We got the engine in, got the K-member on. We got everything seam sealed. Taylor did an awesome job of seam sealing. If you guys see this thing, Taylor did a great job seam sealing everything, and we're putting it together. We're getting close. It is looking killer. I'm still not really sure what happened here. I think this thing had a little accident and definitely had to brace that up a little bit. But this thing's got strange struts, TBM brakes. Look at the lower control arms we did for this thing. Danny's brake lines, of course, came out awesome. Everything's looking good. What do you think, Taylor?
Pro mod.
It's a Pro Mod Spark, pretty much. It needs a little more cage, but it's close. Hey, if Cream Puff's a Pro Mod, this is definitely a Pro Mod. And we got clearance. Everything fits. Unbelievable. Chevy Spark with a Big Block Chevy and a huge radiator up front. Everything fits. Got an alternator. Man, the water lines even worked out perfect. I like it. I like it. It's getting close.
Alright guys, I'm going to start by saying this. As a lot of you may remember, Cleetus lost a $10,000 bet to me when he thought he could hard park Spark. So obviously it was a big payday. I didn't really want to just take my friend's money like that. So we used it to get him again. Okay? I don't want to. That was just a birthday present. This is different. Alright. And I used a little more than what you owed me on, right? So whatever. Alright. Let's go over here by the box. We'll count it down. I'm shaking. Dude, I'll be honest, this is a long time in the making, and there's gonna be, I filmed a full video about it, and he obviously has no idea, but guys, count it down from 10 to see what is inside this box. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
A new Spark? Well, what do we got going on here?
This ain't your ordinary
Is this a special Spark? What do we got inside here, brother? What the heck is this? There's a Turbo 400. How is there a Turbo 400 in a Chevy Spark? What's under the hood? Hold on. How did you guys build a Big Block Spark behind my dash?
We call Jeremy Johnson.
Jeremy Johnson, you son of a gun! No way!
Yeah, it's full engine fabrication from the shop.
Okay, so.
Other day, like, how many we got left? I'm like, dang, just look that out.
I didn't even notice there's a Big Block missing. Well, will it do it now?
Let's find out.
Find out.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm gonna be honest, I had absolutely no idea this was happening. You guys did pretty good on that. I'm really impressed. I had no idea.
I was telling you it was going to be a rhino.
I was trying to guess all week. You guys want to see me do a burnout on my birthday present?
This thing rips. We might have to tweak the tune a little bit, but now we know. She's out.
It's a powerhouse. It's 100% going to blow up if I go any longer. So I had to stop.
All right, we didn't have much time to video the Spark before it left the shop because we were in a rush, obviously, and it was more important to get it done than video it. But we did get it done. Zach got it wired and plumbed. Amazing that he got it done in a very short period of time, and it looks really good. Andrew got the headers welded up. We dropped them off to Zach. They're on there. They'll probably be modified at some point, along with a few other things that just aren't 100% finished, but it is here and it runs. Cleetus already did a burnout, and they're working on a tune-up so that they can hopefully run it in a burnout rivals later. But this thing is killer. It's got our titanium gas pedal, titanium brake pedal, adjustable brake pedal kit, adjustable steering column kit, mounted the shifter to the transmission. We usually mount it back there, but because the motor's so far back, he wouldn't have been able to reach it. This thing is absolutely nuts, and can't wait to see how he does in the burnout rivals later. pretty much going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.